All right, we're going.
Uh, all right. Hello, YouTube. I am MightyElf. My real name is Michael, and I am debating Zach, friend of a vibe. I'm debating him on immigration. My position is generally anti-immigration. Even if I am willing to make compromises, I think my my ideal the ideal level of immigration would be zero refugees taken in, and legal immigrants which are selected based on education, based on wealth. I think legal immigrants are generally fine, which are selected, of course.
Okay, cool. Hey everyone, it's Zach, friend of the vibe, or on Discord or on YouTube, Ohio Skater. I'm gonna be arguing. I'm gonna be trying to argue a very 100% pro-immigration stance if I can, including refugees. And I'm going to be arguing that maybe not right away, but eventually we should adopt open borders as a global society. And and in regards to the current situation, I want here in the USA, I want to argue that we should be taking in these refugees. And I believe, and we're going to get into the distinction between a normal immigrant and a refugee, and yeah, so we'll go from there.
Yeah. Can you clarify one last thing? How many refugees are you willing to take in? If let's say 20 million refugees want to come into your country this year, how many are you letting in?
I would be fine with all 20 million. And I can give a reason for that.
20 million.
I can give a reason for that if you want me to.
Okay, but we like are you okay with that? Letting that happen while not changing any other policy, or do you want to change some specific policy, like giving some funding for these refugees or something like that?
Well, okay, so I actually don't like it when people have to be illegal immigrants, when people have to live undocumented. So when I say we should take these immigrants in, I don't. I think it's kind of not a very cool opinion to have to say like, oh yeah, we should let all these refugees come in, but you know, also I'm fine with them staying undocumented. I don't care about any other changes in the actual immigration laws that could make these people citizens. I just want them. I want them to be able to come here and work crappy jobs for less than minimum wage, and I don't want them to have any dignity. I'm fine with, and that is sort of a very capitalistic argument of like just wanting to take advantage of these people, and so I would make it first of all, in the current situation, much easier to become a citizen of the United States, much easier, because letting these people in, we know from recent history. Especially that letting these people in doesn't mean they're going to become citizens, but in the current situation, I would like to see them become citizens. So I would say make it easier to become a citizen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. start saying an argument about why I'm anti refugee immigration, or should you start saying?
You can start whatever you want,
okay.
honestly. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. So all right. Obviously, like many things in life, we see there are many nuances. So we can't talk all the information that there is about immigration in this debate, but we can try to debate some basic points. So my first basic point is that in comparison to legal immigrants that can be vetted, that can be selected, refugees, not only they are not selected, but they are also generally less productive immigrants for society as a whole. With many immigrants being even counterproductive to society as a whole, and I'm gonna explain why. So when you take, let's say, 10 immigrants, 10 refugees, or let's say a bigger number. Let's say you take 1,000 refugees, right? And that's not a big number, right? But let's say 90% of them, of these immigrants, they are very well mannered. They respect the nation. They respect the American values and so on. But the other 10%, they can be more disrespecting, and so on. So what I'm gonna focus on here is not all the immigrants. I'm gonna focus on why letting in unvetted immigrants causes problems. So basically, you take in 100. The basic argument goes like you take in 1,000 immigrants. 90% of them are fine. They integrate, but then the others, they can be very disrespectful, and some of them may commit crimes. And when crimes are committed, even if statistically crimes are gonna affect a very small percentage of a population, like directly, they indirectly affect society very badly, because once crime goes up, once people start to fear going outside, once women start to fear getting raped, once that happens, people feel unsafe. What happens there is that trust in the society goes down, and people feel less open and feel less safe. And when people feel less open, less safe, they are more defensive. They stay more in their own let's say gated communities. Not like the rich gated communities. I meant like they stay in their own communities. They don't socialize more. They're not open. And this it's just a chain of causality that creates a worse off society. And many of the poor immigrants. I can also argue that they come and they bring in a culture. They bring ideas that are hostile to the American values. So, as you probably can notice from geopolitics, from politics, in countries that are poor, they tend to elect. People that are poor. They tend to be to have lower intelligence. They tend to vote for more autocratic leaders, more populist leaders, and this as a whole, taking in all these people that are gonna vote, this will change the political landscape and will also set us a chain of causality towards more populism, more authoritarianism, and so on. So yeah, that's like my basic argument. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, so I want to talk about, first of all, that, let's talk about what a refugee is. What is a refugee? A refugee is fleeing a really bad situation in their home country, and that's why they have to move countries. It's a very tough position to be in. You have people are coming to the United States because things are very bad where they are from, and
Exactly.
and if we send them back there, they could lose their lives. This is, and I think this is more important than whatever measure of productivity. I think we're too obsessed with measures of productivity currently. Honestly,
let me intervene there for a second. When you mean send them back, do you mean just refuse entry?
well, I'm specifically referring to Donald Trump, who wants to.
Yeah, right. I'm not for deportation.
Oh, okay.
So I can. I'm for securing a border and stopping all refugee migration.
Okay, but if a refugee has gotten here already, you wouldn't send them back?
No, because there are too many. You just.
Oh, okay.
It's not productive.
Okay. Well, so let me talk about your point about vetted immigrants versus immigrants who haven't been vetted. So the United States kind of created this. The United States government kind of created this problem for itself because a long time ago, it decided to agree with a set of international human rights conventions, and upon agreeing to that, it was supposed to set up systems that could vet these immigrants. But as usual, our government, there's the international perspective, and then there's the U.S. government perspective. And the U.S. government perspective hates the international perspective. They want to dominate the international perspective. They don't like other countries telling them what to do. But it's tough. It's tough love, honestly. But I gotta say, a long time ago, you agreed that you would have a system in place for vetting refugees, but you didn't put a good enough system in place. And now all the problems that are happening are because you didn't create a good enough program for vetting refugees, because in this country we have this idea that why even try, because it's not going to work, and we have this pessimistic view about doing anything anything through the government, but I don't want to say anything through the government, just in general, doing anything as a collective, coming up with collective solutions. We aren't good at that here in the United States because we're an individualistic country. But at the end of the day, you're failing your commitment to the international community. So you created this problem for yourself, U.S. government, by half-assing it. So
what's your point?
So my point is that we could have all these immigrants vetted if we cared enough to follow international human rights procedure, but we don't believe in our government doesn't believe in all the human rights that exist in these UN declarations. We have a very specific view that we try to impose on the rest of the world. So
okay. But didn't you say, I don't remember if this was before or after you started recording, but you said if 20 million refugees want to come in, you said you'd let them in. So but now you say you propose vetting them.
Well,
so can you clarify here?
Well, first of all, if we can't vet them, I'm still fine with them coming in. But I think we should be able to vet them. But at the same time, I think it's not that. Okay, the reason we couldn't vet them is because our government wasn't good enough at doing it. So instead of just giving up and say, well, we aren't good enough at vetting these people, why don't you create a better system to vet people?
But that's we can discuss that later, but that's another discussion about why didn't the U.S. government.
But you're saying these people aren't vetted. But do you think the U.S. government, with all its power and money, could create a good enough system to vet all these people?
Yeah, I totally believe it.
Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from.
But it would probably eliminate many people from if it was really good, it really 100%. Prevent immigrant crime type vettings. If it was that good, then many refugees would not pass the vetting system.
Well, you were the one that was saying, let's say that 90% of them are fine. 90%'s a large number, So
yes, but when you vet, it's not you have to go off how can I say it? You can't know if they will be bad or not just by looking at them. You have to go off some characteristics, what they say, what their character is. So if you want to, and you can't really you any vetting system you have with the current technology. I mean, we can talk about this more in detail, but I'm pretty sure you can't 100% or even 50% know if someone is gonna be a criminal or not. So what you have to do is to exclude more people, so that the chance of them being, so that the chance of you allowing a criminal to come in, or someone that will do a crime, is very low.
That makes sense.
And it's also not only about crime, okay? It's also about what their ideas are. If they have a bad idea about how can I say it? If they have ideas that are not aligned with American values, ideas of how to treat women, many immigrants, refugees, they have bad ideas of how to treat women. They think women are less than men, for example, and there is also about the thing I told you about political beliefs. Many of them in their countries, they vote for autocrats. They vote for populists. Many times the South American countries went through socialism, and they suffered a lot because they voted these people into power, or they created revolutions. So it's like you really have to be careful with who you let in, and that would exclude a lot of refugees. So I can modify my position and say that yes, we could allow refugees, but only if it's a very good vetting process.
Okay. Well, all right. So then I'm talking about vetting refugees here, you know, and
Yes.
and this is what I think should be done in the here and now in the current American situation. But I want to talk about down the line. Where do we go next? You know, and I would like to eventually see we kind of agree on the whole vetting thing. We come from different perspectives, but in the future, I did say that I would like to see open borders.
Yeah, but right now, would you do you modify, or do you remain on your position that if 20 million refugees want to come in, you take all of them in?
Yes. Can I explain why?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what this is about. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So the USA has around 350, 330 million people or something like that. You know, something around there.
Yeah.
And but let's look at a couple other countries. You have China and India, over 1 billion people. Okay, let's focus on China. Now, China has over 1 billion people. China has living standards comparable to the United States right now, I would argue. And it has over a billion. And it has over 1 billion people. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on RedNote, on talking with Chinese people on Chinese social media and looking at their.
Bro, do you know they sponsor propaganda?
Who, RedNote?
The Chinese government sponsors propaganda. It doesn't have to be through the app itself. They sponsor creators that will create pro-Chinese content.
Oh yeah, I know that, but
I think you bought into some of their propaganda. Their standards. Like you can simply look at their labor laws, not at their labor laws, sorry, but labor practices about their stance on unions and such, and you can see that the workers are extremely exploited there. Many times being paid barely to survive, and the healthcare system there is a lot worse than in the U.S. Where in the U.S. you have the best medical devices, you have the best doctors, and you have insurance that is very affordable compared to China, and China, they have their housing problem. If you think the housing problem in US is bad, you don't know how it's in China. It's absolutely horrendous. They have I think in some region in Beijing, the price of housing is like the same as in New York City. Like, like they have the same price of housing, but their wages are a shit ton lower.
Well, I don't want to change the topic into a debate about China, but I will say I think there's propaganda on all sides everywhere. Every country promotes propaganda,
That is
and
true.
every country
Right.
has problems. I think there's a lot of problems with the West that people don't see, and I suggest you go on Red Note or something and talk to some Chinese people. I have many Chinese friends from the Chinese social media app Red Note, and I talk to them
I
daily.
understand, but you got to. Okay, let's. Sorry, this deviated. Let's just move on, and we can talk about this later.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
either way, I think
You said you wanted. You see that China has 1 billion and something like that.
yeah, both China and India have over 1 billion people, and if let's say let's say the U.S. has 350 million people,
Yeah.
we're gonna add 20 million refugees. Then it has 370 million people. Whoa, big whoop! I mean, China and India, that's nothing to them, and so I don't
Right.
understand why the United States
But
specifically is so
it's
concerned
not
about this.
okay. Okay, let me tell you why. It's not about population. It's about what type of population you got. I don't I don't think I think India and China are overpopulated as hell. I I don't think it's good that they have this many people. It's really not good for them. It's really not good. But the difference between why they can have I mean very okay, there are multiple points here, but let me say one. Why they can have 1 billion people and the US can't have 1 billion is because China and India, they have homogeneous populations. Homogeneous basically means like similar, the same. So they have homogeneous populations. They have homogeneous culture. In India, it varies, but it varies by region. In the same city, in one city, it's like homogeneous. But even then, like India, China, they have homogeneous cultures, religion, spirituality, etc., and political beliefs quite similar. India before its independence had Pakistan. Right after its independence, actually had Pakistan and Bangladesh in its composition. Do you know that?
Yeah, and they split off.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Because they were Muslim countries.
Yeah, exactly. Because they were Muslim, and they did not agree at all with what the Indians wanted to do. They couldn't be in a democracy because a democracy is basically tyranny of a majority, and tyranny of a majority forces things on the minority, and they couldn't be forced upon when they are such different from the Indians. They have such different religious beliefs. Even though they had very similar culture aspects, their religious beliefs were very different for them. So that's why they had a civil war and they separated. And my point is that in America right now there is a culture. You have an American culture which is predominant in every city, in every town, county, which if you analyze it, the American culture has a set of values which makes it that democracy can work for you. Tyranny of a majority can work because you guys kind of agree on things. You agree that liberty is very important. You agree that authoritarianism is not good, and stuff like that. Whereas the refugees that come from other countries, they are more open to authoritarianism. They're more open to populism and to policies that Americans would not usually be open to. And not only does that change the political landscape, it also creates disagreements, and disagreements create tension. And as you see, like right now, even within the same, within the same people, Americans, you guys are very divided among left and right, and you have political violence increasing. But and this is being like quite similar people. But when you bring in refugees, they're even more different, and tensions just rise, and it's really not. It really undermines the whole stability of a nation, and it makes the nation prone to civil war and stuff.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
So basically, okay, what I think you're forgetting is that these people who are coming in to the United States, they're from South America, right? Yeah. So they're most of them, I would say, are probably of Spanish descent. Spain, a European country, you know, like so I don't really get where you're.
Like they're more like mixed. Like
They are
Spanish,
mixed indigenous. They are more mixed indigenous. They are okay. So the difference between South America and North America is South America was much the Spanish in South America. I don't want to say they were nice, but I want to say they let the indigenous people survive. Basically, the United States basically destroyed every So I get where you're coming from. So South Americans are more mixed between Spanish and indigenous than the United States citizens are. But so I get where you're coming from. But still, these countries were settled. They were settled by Spain. They were created. They speak Spanish. They speak the European language. They follow Christianity. They're Catholic. They're Catholic, dude. They
Yes, but they're like even if they're I mean, what you're trying to say is that they have an European culture, or what?
Yeah.
No, I don't really agree. They maybe had an European culture in the 1800s, but since then Europe has advanced and America has advanced, and right now Americans, Europeans do not consider women as less valuable than men. They do not think we should be ruled by kings. While many South Americans, they remained with this mentality of as I said, these 2 points, women being less than men. being okay with autocrats.
Okay, let me ask you something. Okay.
Yeah.
Put yourself in this position. Say you were a refugee and you were fleeing your country because of political violence, and you end up in the United States.
Right.
Would you want to turn the United States into the country you fled from? Would you want to? Do you think immigrants really think that? Do you think immigrants really want to make the United States?
Let me tell you something. Yes, let me tell you something. I'm actually from a kind of third world country. So I lived almost my whole life in the Republic of Moldova, and you guys, like I am, like Republic of Moldova was and is a lot more richer than South American countries, but still, you guys, let me explain from my point of view. We have, how can I say it? We Moldovans, how can I say? Our people have such many of us have such beliefs that you Americans would find abhorrent. So, as I said about women, there are many in Moldova. Now, because of American culture, we are more, how can I say it, progressive or what? But before that, we were, many of us of Moldovans were real misogynists, and many of us very, very religious. We had no idea about liberty. We were like fresh off out of dictatorship, out of the Soviet Union. We had no idea what does it mean to protect freedom and why it matters. People just voted because they liked, people just vote because they like how someone talks, or they like, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen in America, but it's a lot less than in Moldova, and especially South American countries. So yeah.
But
did I answer your question?
sort of, but are you saying that whether these refugees like it or not, despite their best intentions, that this stuff is just too embedded in them already?
Yes, because people generally do not change after childhood. I really believe in that. People after they become adults, they generally do not change for life. That's just how it is. Like you think about it from your point of view, because you're very open-minded, but others are they are extremely close-minded. I know people from my country, obviously, because I lived in my country, and people are extremely close-minded in Moldova. Like you can't argue for shit with them. You can't. They don't change their opinions at all, and they just have this. Once they have this trauma, from childhood, and they have these beliefs that are totally incompatible with American values.
Well, okay.
American culture.
What exactly? Okay, so.
And I think it's just really bad for you guys to take such people in that change your political landscape and really create more division and less and really really make society worse off. Honestly, as I said, I am pro vetting. Actually, I think if you had a good system of vetting, you could take in refugees, but obviously many of them would be not allowed after the vetting process. But some of them would be allowed.
So now I think something we can't forget here is that one of the keys to Trump's success is he was able to attract, I think, if I'm not mistaken, more than any other Republican. He was able more than previous Republicans in recent times. He was able to attract minority votes, including Hispanics. Including Hispanics. Hispanic Republicans were key to Trump's victory. You know, so I don't really see how it like.
Do you guess why?
Well, I want to say because they were those are probably the legal immigrants. Honestly, those are probably the Hispanics that came here legally. But still,
you don't have to come in legally. If you have children, Trump now ended birthright citizenship, but before that, you would get citizenship if you were born in the U.S.
Yeah, I know. When I was in high school, I had a girlfriend who was Mexican, and she was a dreamer. She was a dreamer. That's what that's called, being a dreamer. And she had a card and everything. Yeah. So I know about that. But yeah. So if we're gonna talk, if the media is gonna be so crazy about how Trump is converting Hispanics to Republicans, then I don't see your point here. You know, because first of all, I really doubt. I find issue with the idea that every immigrant that comes here is going to be a Democrat. That's stupid to me. No, like, immigrants aren't going to come here and just automatically be Democrats. You know, like
I don't have that idea.
Yeah, so.
I went to that. Do you know why they voted for Republicans?
Why?
Or Trump? Why do you think so?
Okay, well, I think there are divisions among Hispanics who are here 100% legally, because there are a lot of them. Let's not act like everyone in this country who's Hispanic is an illegal immigrant. That's the stupidest thing ever, too. So, I think there's a lot of tension between Hispanics who came here completely legally and Hispanics who are crossing the border illegally. I think there's tension within the Hispanic community between those two groups.
Yeah, there is.
So, but
yeah.
But the stats about the Hispanics that voted for Trump, they don't go so far into that. They just say so we don't know.
I mean, I could make a guess, but I don't know if I'm right. But as I said, people in South America, like generally people from poorer countries, including my own, people we like to vote for autocrats. We like to vote for populists.
Yeah, but can I just say something real quick?
Maybe that's why they voted for Trump.
Yeah, but Trump may be the populist, but he's also the one that agrees with you more on immigration. He's the anti-immigration candidate more so than Kamala was, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
but
So
if you're an immigrant and you're already here, what do you care about immigration? You know.
Well, if you're illegal, you could be sent home. So I would care a lot.
No. If you're legal.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you say. Yeah.
Okay. True. I guess there's a lot of reasons that I don't understand why people vote the way they vote, but it is true that Trump that people are saying that Trump is making the Hispanics more Republican. It is true. And Trump is the anti-immigration. Trump was the anti-immigration candidate. So so to me that just proves that Hispanics aren't coming here to try and change this country. They're coming here because they like the way it is already.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
But you're saying they're going to change our country. You're saying that our country is going to lose its value.
Because they intentionally they change it because that's how their views are. That's how their political views are.
But you don't
know political views. Like, let me tell you, I think political views are simply formed by trauma. Like 90% of people believe their political views because of trauma, which creates preconceived notions, and the people just don't think about it logically. So, like, when you, as I said, many of these refugees, they're very traumatized, and they have these beliefs that are that they will vote based on their beliefs, but they do not do it intentionally. They do not come to change the country. They just come for their self-interest and their family. So it's just how it is. Like, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say one last thing, and then I think we should end it. You can respond. I'll give you a chance to respond if you want to. But
how much time are we in?
We're about 47 minutes in.
All right.
So I will say that give me a sec. I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe I'm a little foolish because I do often, I think, think too highly of just random people, because I tend to think that
I think you do.
I tend to think that everyone is rational. I tend to think that everyone has free will. I tend to think that everyone has, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know.
Yes. I also tended to think like that, but then I just looked at politics. I just tried to argue with people, and many of them just, bro, people do not give a fuck about logic. They do not give a fuck about rationality. They just believe based on their trauma responses.
Okay, well, I think that was a great debate. Do you want to end it there?
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to clarify, like, did you change your position a little, or?
Well, I think we came to an agreement that we both agree that if there was a better vetting system, then this wouldn't be a problem. I think we agree on that. But
I also agree that like they're really talented, hardworking, and open-minded people that are just simply born into poverty and can take advantage of opportunities that America gives them and also better the country. But we need a vetting system to allow only those type of people in.
Okay. Well, all I want to say is that the anti-immigration people, the reason we don't have a good vetting system is because the anti-immigration people don't even want there to be one. And that's why it's not funded properly, because these people have power in our government. So, yeah. If you want to respond to that, you can.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think I could guess maybe there is. I don't know. Like in the past, there like I don't know what politicians believe. Like it's really hard to guess if they believe in anything.
True.
But many of the people are a little bit racist. But I don't know. It's I mean, you have to think about that.
All right. Well, yeah. I'm gonna stop the recording and I'm gonna get off VC. But if you want to DM, I'm down. So, yeah.
All right.
Anything
Yeah.
you want? Anything you want to say at the end here?
Yeah, subscribe to Zach. And if you want to debate with any of us, contact on Discord
Definitely.
or leave a comment.
Yeah, friend of the vibe on Discord. You'll find me in lots of political servers. I made a Discord server for this channel, but it's not really good yet. It's not really a good server yet, but yeah. Anyway, I can link it in the description,
Yeah.
and that's where you can find me if you want to debate. At least that's where you can find my account. But anyway, so yeah, peace, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good rest of your day. MightyElf, Michael, have a good rest of your day, and the people who watch this video, my fans on YouTube, anyone who I'm friends with in the Discord communities that I share this in, I hope you have a good rest of your day. So anyway, peace.